Hello, how you doing? It's Phil Thatch, and once again, I'm going live on a Wednesday evening. Um, I don't know how long I'm going to be live tonight. It looks like Heather's class is probably going to get out early, but I definitely wanted to go ahead and do this live stream because I had everything all set up and I rearranged my video schedule to do the live stream. But I am happy to be here. Hope you folks are doing well. How do you like my shirt? Anybody have any idea where I got this shirt? If you do, put it in the chat. But today is Wednesday. Wednesday is turned into live stream day. I think this is my fourth week in a row with a live stream. I think one was on a Tuesday and the other three have been on Wednesdays. And I've been enjoying doing these. It's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun. There's Miguel. Hello, Miguel. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Thanks for joining. What's been going on with you, Miguel? Oh, there's Bill. Hi, Bill, Sebastian. What's happening? You guys are both very frequent commenters. Oh, let me tell you, I've noticed something. My videos, when my videos are on YouTube, probably only somewhere between 20 and 30% of the people actually watching the videos are subscribed. But the live streams, it's way higher than that. It's 80%, 90% of the people watching are subscribed. So I guess this is a subscriber event, and thank you so much for subscribing and joining the live stream. There's Ed Smiley. You bought a Nikon from me. Oh, is okay. Well, I actually did get this. I actually did get this shirt from Alan's Camera, but I didn't buy a Nikon from there. These shirts. I'll tell you the history of these shirts. Jared Poland used to work at Alan's Camera, and Nikon. And he's got the I Shoot Raw shirts. That's kind of his trademark. Hello from Italy. How you doing? Ripamonti. That's a cool name. Got a nice flow to it. I'm sure I messed it all up. Today I photograph for the first time a great horned owl. How awesome is that? That's completely awesome. Good for you. So this shirt, Nikon sent some gear for Jared Poland to try, and they also sent him a box full of these shirts. I think 100 of them in various sizes. And he took them down to Alan's Camera and posted on his social media that anybody who wants to get a free shirt can go by Alan's Camera and mention it, and they'll give them one for free. Well, Alan's Camera is all the way in Pennsylvania, and I'm in Tennessee. But I called them and got them to ship me one. Of course, I paid for the shipping. Actually, I got them to ship me two, one for me and one for Heather. So even though I don't shoot Nikon as much as I used to, I was definitely an early adopter of Nikon Z cameras, and I'm shooting with two of them right now. So well, you can only see one. I'm shooting with, nope, not that. There we go. I'm shooting with two of them right now. As usual, I've got the Z6 with the 24 to 70 2.8 right here, and over here is the Z50. One thing I'm doing different this week, I had been shooting wide open at 2.8 with the 24 to 70, and this week I stopped it down 2/3 of a stop to 3.2 and then 3.5. So I'm shooting at 3.5, and hopefully that'll make things look a little better. I don't know. Miguel, where did you see that horned owl at? That's completely awesome. I'm trying to think of what kind of owl it is I've photographed a couple times this year. And for some reason I'm drawing a blank. Let me look it up. Well, it was not a great horned owl, although that's the kind that we actually have a pair of these in my neighborhood, but you only see or really hear them, I should say, late at night. So we don't. I actually have photographed them, but it was in the top of a tree at dark, and I used a flash, and you could still even just barely see an outline of the bird. But we hear them. They're awesome. And now I can't think of the kind of owl that I have photographed. Barred owl is the kind that barred owl, you can kind of see them sometimes during the day, so they're a lot easier to photograph, which is why I was able to do so. But that's cool that you got a great horned owl. Hey Phil, been watching since your R7 coverage started, so that means July. I'll tell you, I picked up more subscribers in the month of July than any other month in the history of the channel. So thank you to all the people who came when the R7 came. Thanks for all the great videos. Thank you so much. I do appreciate that, MPL. There's Jeff and Leslie. Speaking of R7s, Jeff and Leslie just got an R7. I think they got an R7 and a 100 to 500 and the RF 100 millimeter macro lens. So I'm sure they're going to love that stuff. Let's see what Jeff and Leslie say. Bard Owl song is "Who Cooks for You? Who Cooks for You?" Yeah, yeah. I live 2 blocks away from a bird reserve called the Tanglewood Bird Reserve, and they have a nest with 2 bald eagles. That, oh well, I would probably be late for work a lot because I'd be going every morning to take pictures of bald eagles. That's awesome. Who cooks for you? Who cooks for you? That's super cool. Let's see, Jeff and Leslie say they got the 100 to 500, the RF macro, and the 24 to 105 f4. Interesting. That's an interesting lens for that camera. I have one, and I think I've put it on my R7 just when I was shuffling lenses around, but I've never shot with it on there. I usually do the 24 to 105 f4 on my full frame camera. Let's see, there's Doug. Hello, Doug. I was lucky and got great horned chicks in the nest last year. Loved it. That is completely awesome. Completely awesome. Well, let me show you. I have a channel to show you while we're kind of caught up on the comments and everybody's settling in. This is a channel that I actually just discovered today. Let me see if I can get it on the screen just right here. I've only watched a couple of his videos, and he doesn't have a whole lot of videos actually, but he does have some. Let me see if I can get this switched around to left display. This is a guy named Matthew Rafeman. He's a photographer somewhere in New England, which I guess is the Boston area. And I watched a couple of his videos. They served this one up for me, the sharpest shots on the R7, which shutter to use video, and I watched it and really enjoyed it. And he recommends, which is the same thing I recommend, he recommends the electronic shutter because the shutter shock is bad with the mechanical shutter. You have to deal with some rolling shutter distortion, but that's what he recommends, and that's the same thing I do. Different from me, he shoots in the 30 frames per second mode, which I prefer the middle speed, which is 15. And he likes to shoot at a higher shutter speed than I do, which is really recommended and advisable, but I like to try to keep the ISO down, so I shoot at kind of almost sometimes ridiculously low shutter speeds, which you may see in some of the videos. But the other video that I watched, he bought a used EF, which is like the DSLR sort of lens, 300 millimeter f2.8, the second version. There's actually 3 versions. There's a 300 2.8, there's a 300 2.8 IS, and a 300 2.8 IS2. That's a mouthful. And he bought and the IS2 is the latest one, and he bought one of those used, and he uses it on his R7. So he's got a 480 f2.8 light, but f4.5 depth of field. So both of those videos were really good and kind of a breath of fresh air for me. I really enjoyed watching those. So there's a channel you can check out at your leisure. Let's see what we got going on over here now. I'm going to get this set up. We happened to be watching a nest and got a mama great horned owl bringing a garter snake to her babies. How awesome is that? That is completely cool. Hero Shots. Hello, Hero Shots. Greetings, dudes. Greetings to you as well. I have some shots on my Flickr page. I sent you a link in private mail if you're interested. Wouldn't want to post it on your chat. Okay, yeah, that'd be fine. I'd love to see that. I mean, you could post it on the chat if you wanted to, and I could bring it up on the screen. But those are your pictures. You should be the one sharing them. Cool. Well, have another one of the videos that's coming up on the channel is a video that I made at this place right here. Let's see if I can get that on the screen correctly. This is a sculpture garden that's in Chattanooga, and I think it might have been here for a few years, and I had no idea. It's not in a part of town that I normally go to, and I heard about it one day, and the next day I went and visited this place. And it has like 47, I think, 47 or 49 statues in a field, kind of rolling hills in this field. And I went down there and looked around, and I was really hoping it was going to be foggy that morning, and because it had kind of rained a bunch, but there wasn't fog, and I thought the fog would make the statues look cool, but there wasn't any fog, and so I brought the R6 Mark II with a couple of lenses to do pictures of to do kind of landscape photography, and I brought, just in case I didn't get any pictures that I liked, I also walked around this place carrying the R7 and the 100 to 500, just in case I could get some wildlife shots. I did see a red-tailed hawk, but it was very far away, and by the time I got anywhere near close to it, it was gone. But eventually, as I was walking around, and honestly, I didn't really like all the artwork that much, but as I was walking around, I just kind of stumbled upon a composition, and ended up making a couple of shots of that composition, and I found one or two more. So there's a little preview of a video that's coming up on the channel in, I don't know, a week or two. Sculpture fields, a little something different. I meant to show this during the live stream last week, but I forgot about it. That main sculpture that's on the brochure is 75 feet tall, and of course I used it, but I didn't make a picture of it from close. I made a picture of it from hundreds of feet away, and it looked really cool. Lookout Mountain in the background. Pretty neat. Okay, let's see what else is going on. I'm using the RP and a 600 f11 for birding. Plan on getting an R7 this month. Awesome. I think the 600 f11, I don't have one, but I think the 600 f11 would be a really good birding lens on the R7. I've used the 800 f11 on the R7, and it's almost too much. You know what I mean? I can't remember the math, but my phone will know. Let's see, the 800 times 1.6, that gives you 1,280 millimeters full frame equivalent. Focus camera. There you go. But the 600 times 1.6, that'll give you a much more reasonable 960 millimeters full frame equivalent. Now, of course, those f11 lenses, you need a lot of light or very, very slow shutter speeds to get those to work well. F11's a pretty slow aperture, and that's f11 on both of those lenses is wide open, and it's all the way stopped down. There's no aperture blades in that lens. It's f11 at all times. The 800 f11 has a really bad minimum focus distance, about 19.5 feet, and I've put extension tubes on it, and it only reduced it, for me, in my experience, about 2 feet. But apparently there's an RF extension tube that's pretty long, longer than both of mine stacked on top of each other, and it reduces it a little bit more. But I think the 600 f11, while it still doesn't have a great minimum focus distance like the 100 to 500 or the RF, I talk about this lens, the RF 100 to 400, in every live stream, and I never have it on the desk. Well, now it's on the desk. Here's the 100 to 400, just a crazy little lens. Light as a feather, slow. It's f5.6 to f8, but it's sharp, and it's so light and crazy inexpensive. I think it retails for $649. I got mine for $5.99, and then they put it on sale. It may still be on sale for $4.99. That is, and it has better magnification, so it's a better butterfly lens than the 100 to 500. But I carry this with me when I go on landscape photography hikes because it's so light and small in my bag. I carry it with me just in case, just in case I see some sort of wildlife. I can snap it on my camera pretty quick and try to get a shot. Of course, probably by the time I change lenses and put it on the camera, whatever wildlife I saw is going to be gone. But I just feel better. I have a FOMO, fear of missing out. I feel better having a telephoto with me just in case. So anyway, so far I haven't used it yet. But because it has some pretty good light macro capability, I think in the future as I hike along trails, if I just will have the patience to stop if I see a cool looking mushroom or something, switch lenses and make a shot with this before I get to a waterfall or whatever it is I'm hiking to. Anyway, neat lens. Definitely worth the $4.99 or $5.99 or $6.49. Let's see, what are we talking about now? Ed says, looking at getting the 24-70 f2.8 now that it went on sale. Need to sell my R6 first. Well, I don't know if you, Ed, I don't know if you watch any of our basketball photography videos, but Heather's been using that lens on her R7, and she's been doing great doing college basketball photography with that lens. Really great lens. Sometimes I have remorse that I didn't spend the extra money for the 28 to 70 f2. But that lens is so big and difficult to fit in your bag and so heavy and doesn't have image stabilization. I wonder if I have bought that lens, if I wouldn't have overall been more happy with the 24 to 70 2.8 that I got. I don't know. But I am happy with the 24 to 70 2.8. But sometimes there's that little itch going, gosh, I wish I had got that 28 to 70. But it's so much more money. I paid full retail for my 24 to 70, which I can't remember what it was, $22.99 or something. And the 28 to 70 is $3,099, $3,100. Crazy. Jeff and Leslie, I'm coming from D500 and 200 to 500. The 100 to 500 feels as light as a feather. It really does. I think it's 2 pounds lighter, just the lens, and the R7 is a good bit lighter than a D500 if you're holding the two bodies, as I'm sure you know by now. Let's see. He says that 100 to 400 and a 14 to 35. Yeah, this is the 14 to 35, right? Well, the 100 to 400 is in the way. This is the 14 to 35 right here. It's an F4. And I just got it, and I'm really happy with it. I bought it used, just real happy with it. I was worried I wouldn't like it, but that worry was in vain because it's really good. Let's see. Ed says, yep, that's why for sports. Yeah, fantastic. That'll be a great indoor sports lens for sure. For sure. And the range is good. I think it's... What is 24 times 1.6? 38.4 to I think it's 116. What is 70 times 1.6? 112. 38.4 to 112 millimeter full frame equivalent. Great for indoor sports. Great for indoor sports. So while Heather's shooting the basketball with the 24 to 70 on the R7, I use the 24 to 105 on my full frame camera. But the last time we did basketball, and this video hasn't come out yet, and I'm pretty sure I've mentioned this in a live stream before, we went to the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga and we shot a basketball game, and I got out the old D500 and I used the 24 to 70 that's recording this live stream. And I pretended like it was some sort of a battle between the two, but really it's just me and Heather taking pictures. But anyway, it was fun. It was fun. All right, I've got another channel to show you, if I can figure out how to do it. Because we've been doing a lot of work, a lot of photography in that photography, excuse me, blind that we made or hide, and been really enjoying it. And I wanted to share a guy who, I don't know, it's been a long time since he's done a blind video, I think. but I've really enjoyed watching his videos from blind. It's a guy named Daryl Oakden, and he's just a super cool, nerdy little guy who he's got this bird hide, and he actually has fake lenses sticking out of his hide or blind all the time. So the birds are not only used to the blind being there, they're used to lenses sticking out of it. So that's kind of cool. And then he also has made, I don't even know where the video is on here. Oh, here it is. He made a reflection pool to put outside of his blind. Really cool. So there's another channel that you can check out at your leisure. All right, let's see what's going on. Gems suck to shoot in lightwise. Boy, that's for sure. That is for sure. I'm so lucky now because for years I shot some high school sports at my daughter's school for the yearbook. And that high school gym is terrible light-wise. But now I'm about 2 blocks away from that gym, and I'm in a 11,200 seat arena shooting basketball with great lights. It's night and day. There's a pun there with the light amount difference shooting there. I have that itch for the 7200 f4 I bought instead of the 2.8. I thought you bought the f4 and you wondered about getting a 2.8. I can't remember. I recommend the 2.8, but the f4 would be great for landscape photography for sure. Let's see, Angelo. Hello, Angelo. Good to see you here, buddy. What's happening? Big difference between college and high school gyms. That's for sure. Yeah, that's just what I was mentioning. Sure enough, you probably already had that on my screen when I was mentioning that. Jeff T. Hello, Jeff. I wonder if T is for Thatch. Are we related? Hi, Phil. I was using the 50D for a long time. Stepped up to the R7 and love it, except the physical size. Also have the RF 100 to 400. Enjoy your videos. Thank you. Thank you very much. You know, I must be weird because I like the small size of that camera. I don't mind. Let me show you. I don't mind that my pinky goes around the bottom of the camera when I hold it. And I mean, I don't have little hands. I'm 6'3". I've got big hands. But I just don't mind the small size of the camera. As a matter of fact, when I use my D500, which is very big by comparison, I kind of like, oh man, this body is so big. And my friend Ray, he loves battery grips on cameras, which I know a lot of you guys do too. I just don't like them. The only camera I've ever had that had a battery grip, I had a XT3 and I bought it used. And the nice fellow who sold it to me included a battery grip with it, and I tried it for a while and I just didn't like it, other than the extended battery life, because the XT3 doesn't have great battery life. I just didn't like that giantness. But I'm weird, so I can totally understand how the smaller size, almost subcompact size of the R7 could be off-putting, especially if you've spent years shooting a much larger camera. Excuse me. I need to do more photography with the 100 400. As a matter of fact, I think next time Heather and I shoot in the blind, which that won't be on the channel for a while because we've got 3 videos where we're in our new homemade blind, and none of them have come out yet. But the first video from inside our new homemade blind comes out Saturday. So, gosh, I hope you guys like it. But I think next time I'm gonna use the 100 to 400. I think that'll be fun, especially if there's a little bit of light on the subject. Let's see. Craig, is that Pfeiffer or Pfeiffer? Hello, Craig. Did I miss much watching from Salem, Oregon? Managed to catch it live. I don't know how long we've been on. Let's see if I can tell from right here. We've been on for 24 and a half minutes, I think. So not too much. You missed me talking about a new YouTube channel that I found, Matthew Rafeman, and you missed me talking about Daryl Oakden, and you missed me responding to some of the chats that are above yours. But I sure do appreciate you joining, especially live. That's really cool. Let's see, Jeff and Leslie. By the way, everybody should subscribe to Jeff and Leslie Wildlife and Nature Photography too. They're really nice people, and they do interesting videos. And now they have an R7. I did learn subject tracking and shooting macro / close focus on wildflowers is not a great setting. Yeah, yeah. I usually just use single point for macro, but um, you know, whatever works best for you. But for me, single point on for macro photography probably works the best. Let's see. Hi, Miguel. Miguel, Phil, any suggestions on plants to attract hummingbirds to your garden or backyard? Yes. Yes, I do have a suggestion. Let me see if I can find it. This is what I'm going to plant right here. If I can figure out how to get it on the screen. One time last summer, Heather and I, there's actually a video about it. Heather and I went to her parents' house. First, I did a couple of backyard birding shots on my back porch with no blind. And then we went down to her parents' house. I think it might have been Labor Day or something, which is kind of towards the end of the summer. And they've got cypress vine growing in the yard. They called it hummingbird vine, which is a great name for it. But I think it's actually called cypress vine. It grows like crazy, and it will make seeds, and they'll blow over to another part of your yard, and next thing you know, you got more cypress vine growing. We're going to plant some in a pot out on the back porch in such a way that hopefully it climbs up and gets on the railing and gets on. I've got a wrought iron thing connected to the railing. And hopefully it will grow up that, and that's where the hummingbird feeder is. And first of all, they're really beautiful. Second of all, they attract hummingbirds, and you can get the shot of the hummingbird on that flower. Super cool. Cypress vine. So that's what I recommend. Angelo says, are you planning on shooting the Jupiter-Venus conjunction? Should be happening where you are. Should be happening when, I wonder. I've seen them in the sky. Matter of fact, I saw them in the sky last night, and they were pretty close together. I didn't realize we had a conjunction this month. I did not watch the Wittens guy, the What's in the Night Sky guy. I can't think of that guy's name. But I usually watch his video at the first of every month. And I need to go and watch that and see what's happening. Would be really cool if that happened on a clear night that I didn't have to work early in the morning, because then I could go get that shot. I have buyer's remorse on the 24-70 f4 versus the 2.8 cheaped out. That's okay. I mean, you know what? I bet that 24-70 f4. I mean, I keep saying 24-70 when I'm clearly reading 70-200 on the screen. Yeah, I could see that, but I bet that 70-200 f4 is awesome anyway, even though it's not quite the 2.8. Jeff and Leslie say, Phil, what? That is what I did, and I ended up using manual focus with focus peaking. I don't mind manual focus, but I just have had bad luck with focus peaking. I usually do better on the R7 using servo autofocus, so it's continuing to go single point on whatever it is, make a bunch of shots, use the medium drive speed, which gives you 15 frames per second on electronic. Don't use mechanical. Mechanical shutter makes the camera shake, and you get a lot of blurry photos because of shutter shock. But if you use the electronic shutter on the medium speed, you get 15 frames per second, and you can get your single point on whatever you want to be sharp and blast off, 15 shots in 1 second. And I bet you one of those, maybe even 3 or 4, will be tack sharp and just what you want without having to rely on focus peaking. But you do whatever works best for you, but that's the way I would do it. Of course, I will subscribe to Jeff and Leslie. Awesome. Well, Jeff and Leslie, you just got yourself an awesome subscriber, because Miguel is very nice and comments on basically every video. Super cool. Thanks for the tips. You're very welcome. My niece uses the hummingbird feeders and she has tons in her yard. This is Angelo. My citrus trees attract them too when blossoming. That's awesome. Yeah, I just can't wait to see if I can get the cypress vine to grow as well as Heather's mom had it growing at their house. Kissing tonight at dusk. Well, excuse me, looks like I'm going to miss that because it's dusk right now and I'm in here. But I might take a look at it when the live stream's over. Because like I say, Heather's class is supposed to get over at 7:45, but I think it's going to get over earlier than that. So this will probably be a shorter stream. Let's see, my daughter. They shine bright on the blue hour. Okay. Oh yeah, that makes sense. I think blue hour is either. I'm going to look outside and see if it's blue hour now or if it is done. Yep, I think it's. Oh, and it's two things. It's blue hour right now, and the other thing is it's 100% overcast here in Tennessee because it's actually going to rain all night tonight and a lot tomorrow morning. So I'm thinking I'm going to go to another waterfall. Although I've done a lot of waterfalls lately. Two of the waterfall videos I've done lately have already come out, but I think I've got two more. But you know what? Make hay when the sun's shining. It is, which is a bad metaphor for shoot waterfalls when it's raining. But I think I may go to a waterfall. I just got to figure out which one. My daughter won an award. This is Ed for her hummingbird picture when she was 9. How completely awesome is that? Good for her and good for you. I bet you were so proud. Let's see. Jeff and Leslie say, Phil, thanks for the tips on the macro shooting with R7. Did a lot with the D500, but this R7 is a lot different. Yeah, it's it'll take you a little bit to get used to it, but I think in the long run you're going to be really happy. Hello, Doug. I love this question, but I hate my answer to it. Doug says, Phil, have you ever been to Conowingo Dam to photograph eagles? I'm planning on going in April during the shad run. Want to meet up? I would love to meet up, but I can't. I will be busy with the working, and I've never been to Conowingo Dam, but man, I would sure love to go. That would be awesome. That is pretty much a bucket list thing for me to go there and shoot. That would be really, really awesome. I hope you get some great ones. And thanks for the invite. Ed Smiley, she shot that with a Nikon P9000. Those are awesome. Those cameras are awesome. The not 9000, 900. The P900 and the P1000 are really awesome cameras. It's a point and shoot, but it's a super zoom. Anyway, I think the one, I'm not sure what the full frame equivalent is on the 900, but I think the 1000 is a 3000 millimeter full frame equivalent because it's got a tiny sensor, like a cell phone size sensor with this lens that's about like this, a power zoom, P900, P1000. I've heard that you can take those into professional baseball games because it's not an interchangeable lens camera, and that would be cool, especially if you had a pretty low seat to take that camera and do sports photography from the stands. Anyway, it'd be even cooler to have a photo pass. Jeff and Leslie say thank you to Miguel. Let's see, Hero Shots says, quick question, how do I get the fake shutter sound when I shoot silent? Well, let's see. I've always had it on, so I'm not even sure if I know how to turn it off. It's somewhere in sound, I would think. I wonder if I can find it. I bet I can't. I bet I'll sit here and look around in this camera with all this pressure on me and not find it. It's on. You just kind of have to flip through all the menus and it'll suddenly appear something about sound. I say that as I flip through and it's not suddenly appearing. Okay, I give up, but it's in there somewhere, and it sounds like. Oh, can you tell I did landscape photography last time I used this camera? I'm on timer mode. Well, it sounds like this. But that, if you have it on the middle speed, it sounds like that. If you have it on the higher speed, which is twice as fast, it still sounds exactly like that. It sounds a little different if you put it on the slower speed. But anyway, I wished you could put a wave file in the camera and make your own shutter sound, which I think Nikon's going to do that on the Z9. Let's see here. With the R7. You can never shoot waterfalls too often. I have the opposite problem of not shooting any for a while, or at least none of note. That's a bummer, Craig. I've been lucky since we got back from Florida, which we got back in mid-January, it's rained a pretty good bit. And so all the waterfalls around here are flowing nicely. So that's pretty lucky because, and I try to shoot as many waterfalls as I can when it's raining good, because in the summertime we'll go without hardly any rain at all. And if you go to a waterfall, you just see a cliff where water could flow, but it's usually not. Hero Shots, I went there 2 years ago during that shad run. It's amazing. Yeah, I bet. I bet. That is completely awesome. Ed says, Doug, that's an awesome place, about an hour and a half south of where I am. That's all. Yeah, if I was that close to it, I'd probably go during the shad run, which I actually don't know exactly when that is, but if I lived that close, I would learn. Well, it's probably April, because that's when Hero Shot said. Yeah, I would go. I'd probably go at least every other week on my off day. Ed says, I think it's 2200 millimeters equivalent. He must be talking about the P900. Gotcha. J-Rod. Hello, J-Rod. Thanks for joining. Hello from Maryland. Hello from Tennessee. How you doing? Hero Shots. Mine has always been off, and I was wondering how to turn it on. Now, so you were talking about on the R7. Now, like the R6 and the R5, you can't turn it on. But the R7 and the R10 and the R6 Mark II and probably the R8, you can turn it on. It's really cool. And I've found that it's, I think you can adjust the volume of it too. And where I have mine set, which I don't know exactly where that is, it's not disturbing the birds when we're in our blind making photos of them, because, and we're only, like 11 feet away from the birds when we're in the blind, and it's still not spooking them. Let's see. I always see people shoot with it on, and I like it because it won't take 12,000 photos. Yeah, you can easily accidentally bump into a shutter button on one of these cameras and just lose your mind taking so many pictures if you don't have the sound on to let you know. I set mine up today. It's the wrench yellow Icon 3. Thank you, Jeff and Leslie. So the guy who's had the R7 for a week is answering questions. That's awesome. Way to go, Jeff and Leslie. I don't know if I'm talking to Jeff and Leslie or both, but either one, thank you. Let me know if you're going this year. Be neat to meet up. Yeah, that's it. I want that sound. Cool. Thanks. Nikon, you can do that on the Z9. I think they have a cat sound. Yeah, I saw that video where the cat sound, but it wasn't it wasn't released. But the rumor is that they're actually going to release it. And I think not only could you do the cat sound, but you could program it to do whatever sound you want by putting a file into your camera. I don't know if that's actually the truth, but I think that's what's happening. Okay. We are talking amongst ourselves now. I just set mine up today. It is the wrench mill yellow icon 3. I think I'm trying the R7 with my EF 300 2.8 for the conjunction. I hope it works. Guessing at the settings at blue hour then dark. Cool. Good luck. I hope you get it. There's George. Hey George. George is commenting on my shirt. I don't know if you heard earlier in the stream, but I got this. This was actually at the Fro factory at one point, and Jared took it over to this one and 99 others over to Alan's camera and posted on Instagram that you could go by there and get one for free. And I called them and got them to ship me one. I had to pay shipping, but anyway, that's where I got the shirt. And I figured, seeing as how all these live streams are a 100% Nikon Z camera with the Z6 and the, where's my finger, and the Z50, that I might as well wear this I Shoot Z shirt for this. And I think I may try to wear this the next time I go and make a video using a Z camera, which admittedly is not often enough. I'm kind of crazy about my Canons right now. Let's see, J-Rod, maybe they can add bird sounds to the cameras to attract more birds. Now that would be cool. You could you pull up the Carolina wren while you're shooting a Carolina wren so it can talk to you. Jeff and Leslie Wildlife Nature Park. Phil, it is Jeff. Leslie is reading. In other words, going to sleep. Okay, well, I hope she enjoys her book. And thanks for joining us, Jeff. B&H has an awesome sale on a Delkin 512 gigabyte card. Cool. Might have to look into that. Oh, I have caught up again. Seemed like there was something else. I have a list because last time I forgot some of the stuff that I wanted to talk about. Let's see, I talked about that. I talked about that. My friend David Sailors, who is the Georgia photographer, he kind of got me into vintage lenses, and I haven't shot with any of them in a while, and I'm starting to kind of get the itch. I think I may go out and make a video shooting with one of my vintage lenses. These are old lenses from the film days that you can adapt. Like, for example, this lens right here. This was the first vintage lens I bought, and it's still my favorite. Focus. Oh, there we go. I gave up on it and it pulled it into focus, and now focus on my hand, now focus on the lens. Shoot, it sees my face is what it is. It sees my face and it jumps to eye detect. This is a Minolta 50mm f1.4 fully manual lens, and this lens was made in 1973, and it's just a cool little piece of glass, and it makes the photos that you can make with it are really pretty. And this thing on the bottom of it is an adapter, and this one is an adapter to go on my Canon, but I've got the Minolta adapter to go on Nikon too. And so there's one. This is an old fully manual Nikon 50mm 1.2 that I got. Fun to shoot with that. Here's an old Pentax lens. This is a 28mm fully manual again. Come on, focus. There we go. A fully manual 28mm 2.8. And this one has a Nikon Z adapter on it. And it's an M42, which these lenses actually screwed on and off of the camera, these M42 lenses. My friend Cuban Rum recommended this lens. This is, and this is what made me think of this. The video I made on this lens right here, this Yashica Yashinon 50mm 1.7, somebody commented on the video I made probably well over a year ago on this lens, and it got me thinking about vintage lenses. But my absolute favorite, my first and my favorite 50mm is this Minolta, but my absolute favorite vintage lens is the 105mm f2.5. This is the Afghan girl lens that the famous photographer photographed, the Afghan girl that was on the cover of I guess it was on the cover of National Geographic with this lens. And Heather got this for me for Valentine's one year, 2 or 3 years ago. So that's my favorite, and it's on a Nikon Z adapter right now. So, and I've got there's probably 15 more up there in the cabinet, and it's all David's fault. David's an influencer, and he got me goofing around with these manual focus lenses, and you have to manually focus. There's no, and I like I said, like I mentioned earlier in the stream, I don't trust the focus peaking. Usually my method is so it's slow. Uh, David likes to do zone focus where you set the camera at about f8 and kind of set your hyperfocal distance and have everything in focus. But I like it to be critically in focus, so I have to slowly put the focus point on my subject's eye and then zoom in and then manually focus until it's sharp and then nail the shot. So it's slow and meticulous, but it's kind of fun. So anyway, I wanted to talk about vintage lenses, and I bet you guys have commented about that. Let's see. Craig says, is it difficult switching back and forth from Canon and Nikon? I enjoy the consistency of working with just Canon. It is difficult, and the most difficult thing is zoom lenses, because the Canon cameras zoom one way and the Nikon cameras zoom exactly the opposite. That's tricky. You know, if you've got muscle memory to turn it one way if you want to get wider, and when you turn it that way it goes the opposite direction, that is a pain. That is a legitimate pain. But as far as operating the cameras, it doesn't really bother me that much. But the zoom direction does mess me up. That's a great question. Yes, the Delkin is a great deal, and I have the Angel Bird one, or else I would have jumped on this. It's talking about the deal on the memory card. I did a video on using a Pentax M50 1.4 on the R5, and it works pretty well and does make some nice images. A Pentax 50 1.4. I think David has that lens, or maybe he has a Pentax 50mm 1.7, or maybe it's a 1.8, but I think it may be one of his favorite 50s. David Saylor's Georgia photographer. If you guys haven't subscribed to him, check him out. He has a lot of vintage lens stuff on his channel. But beware, if you start watching all his videos, you're going to end up like me with a cabinet with 15 or 20 ancient lenses in it. Let's see. eBay prices are pretty crazy. Let's see. I would really like to jump on those old lenses, but it seems like there is a whole old lens movement that is driving the prices up quite a bit. Yeah, you know, I may actually be able to sell all mine on eBay now, and they may be worth more than they used to be. But I'll tell you why there's this big movement on these lenses. Because mirrorless cameras, the mount is closer to the sensor than DSLRs, and because of that, you've got room to put an adapter. You know, adapting these lenses onto DSLRs was difficult because sometimes you would lose. You know, the further the lens is away from the sensor, it messes up your focus, and sometimes those adapted lenses you couldn't focus on infinity. But because because the camera's further back, the adapter can be the exact length it needs to be to put this lens the correct distance from the sensor. And so mirrorless cameras is what's responsible for the vintage lens craze, because it makes them much easier to adapt. Those lenses are fun to shoot with. Yes, they are. I see a lot of people use it. I see a lot of people, Miguel says, I see a lot of people use those lenses backwards with tubes to make a macro lens. I had the Nikon 50mm f1.8D, which was an autofocus lens, but I had you get an adapter that connects to your camera, and then you screw the filter thread onto the adapter, and you do reverse lens macro with it. And the first macro photos that I've made that I actually liked were done with the reverse lens macro technique back in 2011, I believe. Make sure I hadn't missed anything. I don't think I have. J-Rod says, did you see the article about the 2,000 plus vintage cameras? Yes, I did see that. Holy moly. You know, and I've sold some vintage gear that I've bought in various ways. And, you know, it's not worth $1 million, but it's worth something. So those people have a treasure trove for sure. Let's see. Ed says, I bought an older Olympus and it feels like operating a spaceship compared to the Canon. I would think the Canon would feel like the spaceship and the Olympus might feel like a sailing ship. Let's see, Brian Rose. Hello, Brian. I'm not sure if I've said hello to you yet. What brand was the 105? Oh, this is a Nikon. This is a Nikon. Look, it has a pull-out metal lens hood. It's a Nikon 105 f2.5 AIS, I believe, is the full name for it. And the one that Heather got for me is in freaking great shape. I mean, it really looks good. Ed says to J-Rod, that could be my house here in a couple years. J-Rod, we all have gas. Yes, I have gas in more ways than one. Let's see, hero shots. Yay, thanks, dudes. My electronic shutter makes sounds now. All right, I love it when a plan comes together. Can't believe I missed that in the menus. Well, I just missed it in the menu, so it's pretty easy for me to believe. That was the Nikon 105 f2.5. Thank you, J-Rod. I have the adapter to use the Pentax on the EF mount, but it limits the aperture range. On the RF mount, it is so much better. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So that's why, in my opinion, part of the explosion of vintage lens craze is because of the advent of mirrorless cameras. Brian says, sweet. All right, we are caught up again. I wonder how long till Heather's class is over, because I don't want to get started down another big rabbit hole if her class is almost over. But it's not over yet, so what else you guys got going on? Let's see, did I talk about everything I wanted to talk about? You know, I thought I might edit a photo. I was considering editing a bird photo during this live stream, but if her class is going to be over pretty soon, I won't have time to do that. But I can show you one. I wanted to show you a photo that I edited recently. Let's see if I can get this on the screen over there. All right, this is a bird photo. This is a northern mockingbird that I've photographed. And one thing that's cool about Lightroom, if you're in the develop module, you can hit the backslash and hold it, and it'll show you. This is what it looked like before I edited the photo. Well, it doesn't have the crop. There's the crop. But this is before the edit, and this is after the edit. And you know, I mean, just a few minutes in Lightroom, you can turn a pretty plain looking bird into something pretty elegant looking. But that's coming up in the third of our photos from the blind, or videos from the blind. Let me show you what I did to it. Just a few operations with the sliders, but the real magic came here with these masks. I used this mask right here to darken this log, and then I did this radial gradient to add some vignette, and I did let's see, I think this is the one where I painted on its eye a little bit, and then I did another radial gradient to darken everything except for just the head of the bird. And what that does is it makes the brightest thing on the screen the head of the bird, and that lets your viewer's eye go straight. You know, you want the eye to be sharp, and you want the viewer's eye to be drawn to the eye. So if the brightest thing on the page is the head of the bird, the viewer's eye is going to be drawn to that. But anyway, before, after, before, after, before, after. Pretty proud of that edit, to be honest with you. Hope you guys like it. Do you guys use, I love the radial gradient. That's my favorite tool in Lightroom. When the full subject select, where you can select the whole bird and brighten and darken the whole bird, when that first came out, I used it for a while, but I don't use it as much anymore. You know, in extreme cases I do, but if the bird's exposed pretty good, I usually just do global edits instead of editing the entire bird with a subject select. and then use radial gradients to kind of selectively darken the rest of the frame. That's the technique that I came up with, and I like it. But I could look back at this video a month from now, and I may be editing a completely different way. And a month ago, I was probably editing a completely different way, and that's why I haven't done. Sometimes I get requests to do editing videos, and I haven't done one because my strategy changes so often. It's kind of like the flavor of the month for me, but I think this is my favorite so far of my editing techniques. Mockingbirds always pose nice. Yes, they do. They're so common, and I've talked about this on the channel. They're so common around here. They're so common, in fact, that the university uses a mockingbird as its mascot. And I take them for granted, but then I get comments from people in other parts of the country who rarely see them, and other parts of the world who never see them, and then I realize how lucky I am to see them so often. But this bird, as you'll see in the video coming up Saturday morning, this bird is the king of the back porch. I've got feeding stations and perches and all sorts of stuff tied on with coat hangers and screwed onto the railing and all this kind of stuff. And when other birds are there, the mockingbird often comes down and runs them all away. So he's definitely at the top of the pecking order. Let's see here. Very nice edits. Thanks, J-Rod. Too bad OBS doesn't allow you to add another person to the stream. You can do it. My friend David Sailors and his friend, oh man, and now I can't think of his name. But anyway, he would run Discord. You could be connected with Discord and just have a Discord chat as one of the windows on your screen, kind of like the picture-in-picture is here and here. So you could have three people. The trouble of it is Discord, unlike Zoom will kind of mute to where there's not feedback. With Discord, you need to wear headphones, so you're not having echo. There's Tim Childers. Hello, Tim. Everybody subscribe to Tim's channel. Sorry to be so late. Had a daughter drop by. Shoot, I'm surprised you got on here at all if your daughter dropped by. That's a special occasion. I never realized how special of an occasion it was when she was here 100% of the time, but now that she lives in Knoxville at the University of Tennessee, if my daughter stops by, everything stops. Live stream over, TV off, photo editing done. We'll do something. We're going to see the daughter now. So I completely understand. Photography, sure. Somebody subscribed to Jeff and Leslie. That's awesome. Miguel says, I really enjoy the northern mockingbirds. I have one that I photograph almost every day, and they love raisins. That's interesting. Word of warning, they can be aggressive. Yes, I imagine so. You mean aggressive to you or aggressive to other birds? Glad that I came across this. Hey, John, I'm glad you came across it too. Thanks for joining. Ed says, what was the name of the YouTube channel with the blinds you mentioned earlier? That was, one moment. That was the Where Did He Go channel. Oh shoot, I've got it written down here. Daryl Oakden. Oak like the tree and den like where a bear sleeps. Oak Den. Daryl Oakden. It's not his most recent videos. The blind videos are not his most recent videos, so you'll have to kind of look around for them. But and anyway, he's an entertaining guy, especially when he gets to working on his blind and stuff. He's funny. He's awesome. Let's see. Hello from South Carolina. Hello, Patty. Thanks for joining. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Angelo says, we have a lot of mockingbirds, but the blue jay is in charge of my backyard. That's interesting. We have blue jays, but they don't come up on my porch. Now I don't put peanuts out, which I think blue jays really like peanuts. So maybe I should at some point. Blue jay and charmer, birds will scatter when they see it coming. Yeah, I would imagine because blue jays are big. Blue jays are mockingbirds are big compared to a lot of the birds on my back porch, but blue jays are even bigger. I hear you. Okay, hi from Australia. Hello. Thanks for joining us. That is awesome. How's things going down under? I don't know what time it is. What time is it in Queensland, Australia? 10 o'clock in the morning in Brisbane. I don't know what part of Australia you're in, but good morning to you. J Rod, subscribe to Tim. That is awesome. Way to go, J Rod. Ed Smiley, thanks. Big Bird Fishing. Hello, Big Bird Fishing. How's it going? Hey, Phil, I tried photography from a kayak. That sounds awesome, and it was tough, I bet. But I want to keep doing things not so many people would be willing to do. You do seem to get eye level. Have you ever tried it? I haven't done it from a kayak. I've done it from a boat, and I've done it from a sea-doo, of all things. I had a boat. It was a Caravel 16-footer, tiny little thing, and it had an open bow, and I would put it in gear and get myself going towards a bird. There one time there was a cormorant on a branch coming up out of the lake in a shallower area, and I just started the boat moving in the direction of that cormorant, and I was shooting and shooting and shooting as the boat drifted that way. And I even made a photograph of the cormorant pooping into the. Okay, I apologize. I know that's gross, but I got a photo of the cormorant pooping off the stick and into the lake. And then, of course, when I got too close, the cormorant flew off. But what I wish there was a pond in my area that had a lot of waterfowl in it that also had a shallow bank instead of a steep bank to where I could lay down on my stomach, hopefully not in goose poop, and get my camera down really low and get that kind of shot. But that I know of, there's not a place around here where I can do that. I got a shot of a green heron. One time me and Heather and my friend Ron Durant were at a place in Dayton, and there was a green heron, and the bank wasn't too steep, and it was about this far above the water level, and I held my camera out and down low and tilted the screen up and got the camera really low. I definitely have a lot of room for improvement when it comes to low angle photography of waterfowl. That's something that I would like to do more of. Let's see. Hello, John from Phoenix, Arizona. Thanks for joining. It's good to see you. Angelo Garcia, my Blue Jays love corn chips. Interesting. So you put some like Doritos out on the porch? That's awesome. Probably some more plain corn chips than Doritos, I would imagine. All right, hold on, guys. Have to go see if Jupiter and Venus are out. Okay. I don't think they're out here because I think it's fully cloudy, but I hope you get to see them. Well, there's Pinky. Pinky's Garden Adventures. Hey, what's going on? Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. That's awesome. Pinky has a garden channel that she maintains and does all sorts of stuff. I think she's got a new place. I haven't seen any videos from the new place, but I think she's got a new place she's working on, so that's awesome. It is 11 a.m. You're in Melbourne. That's awesome. So still good morning to you. Miguel says, when they have a nest, nobody can get close to the area because they have no fear. Today the Blue Jays and the Crows gave me the location of the owl with all the commotion. That's cool. They showed you where the, see, there goes the, I'm not going to worry about putting the new battery in the Z50. The Z50 always dies first. We're just going to get rid of picture in picture. Angelo says, usually golf courses are overloaded here with waterfowl. You know what? That's a great idea to go to a golf course. But let me tell you a story. There's a golf course near me called the Bear Trace, and I don't know if it's still there because I haven't been in a while. But in between the 10th green would go down, and it was right by the lake, and then the 11th tee would be taken off away from the lake, and in between the 10th green and the 11th tee, there was a giant pine tree, and then the top of that giant pine tree was an eagle's nest. And they had a time during the week when you could come, when photographers were somewhat welcome to come and take pictures of these eagles, but it was Tuesday morning. Well, I had to work Tuesday morning, but I had Thursday off. And a number of occasions I would kind of slip into the golf course with a 500 F4 over my shoulder, doop doo doo, and take pictures of these bald eagles. Well, one time they were having a golf tournament, and I was too dumb to realize that I should not try to sneak into the golf course while there's a golf tournament taking place. And I got thrown out and haven't been back. But that's a great idea, though. I would imagine golf courses would be good places to get down low and photograph waterfowl. Hello, Carter. Hi, new to your channel. Love your videos. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And thank you for watching the videos. Pinky's Garden Visitors. Yes, video to come soon. I should video install of the mailbox. The place is full of rocks. Oh yeah, I bet that'll be a pain. Post hole digging with rocks. My yard is the exact same way. If it ain't clay, it's rocks. That's all I have is clay and rocks. Well, now it's 7:14, and Heather said she thought she was going to be done in 30 minutes at 6 o'clock. So much for her getting out of class early. But I think she's about to get out pretty soon, so it won't be long until I'm signing off. But I sure have enjoyed this evening. Let's see what J-Rod says. Going out to try a picture. Hold on. Okay, good luck. Hope you get a cool shot of that. Let's see what Miguel says. Very important, guys. Anything with salt is harmful to birds, as well as chocolate and apple seeds. I love Blue Jays. Only unsalted peanuts. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Plus, I would imagine unsalted peanuts are less expensive. Patty Hayes. I used to live on Lake Hancock in Bartow, Florida, which is right next to the Circle B Bar Reserve. Circle Bar B Reserve. That place is a gold mine of wildlife. I'd come home with a few hundred keepers on my camera. That's awesome. Somebody else has mentioned the Circle Bar B Reserve. It may have been you in a comment on a video. I can't remember who it was, but sounds like a place I need to check out. Definitely for sure. I was going to sign off, but now I want to see if J-Rod Art gets a picture of the planets. Anybody else see the planets? Is it clear where you are to where you can see the planets aligning? I should Google that and see what's up with it. Jupiter and Venus kiss after sunset as the planets align, and that is supposed to be happening soon. It's February 27th through March 5th is when that's taking place, but apparently tonight is the peak, and of course in my area it is raining, so that's how that goes. That's how that goes indeed. All right, well, I'm going to sign off. I really appreciate everybody joining. Cloudy in the Midwest, so no planetary kiss for you either, it seems. I appreciate everybody joining, hanging out. You know what I'm going to do when Heather gets out of her class? We are going to watch the first episode of Season 3 of Mandalorian. So we're pretty excited about that. I don't know if you guys are into all that Star Wars mess like we are, but we're pretty excited about that. And had fun shooting Z with you guys tonight and girls. Thanks for stopping in. Hope you have a great one. And as always, I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Oh, before everybody clicks off, hit the thumbs up button. I should have said that like an hour ago, but thumbs ups always help. Oh, now there's comments. I shot it last night, but they are closest tonight. Okay, so tonight's the peak. Jupiter and Venus next to each other. Good night, all. Good night, George. Cloudy here. The stars were beautiful last night. Yeah, they were. And I wish I had realized that was something I should have been looking at last night because it was clear here last night too. Have a good night. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.